In a deeply personal and refreshingly candid moment, acclaimed actress Winona Ryder has opened up about a charming and somewhat bittersweet memory. From her early career, her intense crush on one of Hollywood's most iconic figures, Al Pacino, known today for her powerful performances in Stranger Things and other critically acclaimed roles. Ryder revealed that back in her early 20s, she was absolutely enamored with Pacino while the two worked closely together on a theatrical workshop for Richard III. That collaboration eventually blossomed into the 1996 documentary film Looking for Richard. For Ryder, who was just entering adulthood and navigating the complexities of fame and artistry, the experience of being near someone as legendary as Pacino left an unforgettable mark not just professionally, but emotionally as well. As she looked back on those days with a sense of nostalgia, Ryder didn't hold back about how captivated she was by Pacino. She admitted without hesitation that she was absolutely in love with him at the time. But it wasn't just his talent or fame that drew her, and it was the small, quirky rituals they shared that made her feelings even more intense. One of those quirks was Pacino's well-known obsession with coffee. According to Ryder, he had an almost comical dedication to finding the perfect cup, and he made it a mission to explore all corners of New York City with her, searching for the most unique and offbeat cafes. For a young actress just finding her footing in the industry, this one-on-one time with Pacino coffee cups in hand felt surreal, intimate, and exhilarating. She was barely 22 years old, wide-eyed and in awe, floating through the experience like a dream she didn't want to wake up from. Their connection, however innocent, carried a depth that made her feelings for him all the more intense. Ryder recalled how, after spending hours wandering through New York on their spontaneous coffee hunting adventures, Pacino would always make sure to drop her off safely at her place. These rides back home became quiet, reflective moments, filled with the unspoken tension of unrequited affection. Eventually, she couldn't keep her feelings bottled up any longer. One night, she gathered the courage to tell him exactly what she felt. "I told him, I love you, you know. I really am completely in love with you," she recalled with a mixture of bravery and vulnerability. But Pacino, ever the gentleman, responded with gentle kindness and a soft letdown. "Oh, honey, no. It wasn't rejection with cruelty, it was the response of a man who respected her feelings, even if he didn't share them." What makes the story even more endearing is the way Ryder reflects on it now. With humor, humility, and zero bitterness. She shared a funny twist that occurred about a decade after her heartfelt confession. One day, she ended up meeting Pacino's then girlfriend Dan, to her surprise. The woman was actually younger than Ryder had been when she poured her heart out to him years earlier. With a laugh, Ryder recounted her thoughts in that moment. "Dude, I am asterisk-ing throwing myself at you." That humorous reflection showcased her ability to laugh at her younger self, to appreciate the innocence of that time, and to recognize how often life doesn't follow the romantic script we write in our heads, even though a romantic relationship never blossomed between them. Ryder emphasized that their connection never faded. Over the years, she and Pacino have remained on good terms, their bond evolving into one of lasting friendship and mutual respect. She revealed that they still occasionally play poker together, suggesting that what started as a youthful crush grew into a mature, easygoing relationship based on shared history and warmth. It's a testament to the strength of their bond that despite the emotional twists, the affection between them never soured and instead matured into something genuinely lasting. Their professional paths crossed again in 2002 when they worked together on the film Simone, years after the spark of Ryder's youthful infatuation had dimmed. By that time, she had grown into her own stardom, and their dynamic had shifted into something more balanced, shaped by years of personal growth and industry experience. Still, the memories of those coffee-fueled walks, her candid confession, and Pacino's gentle response remain etched in Ryder's heart. It's a story not about lost love, but about the beauty of fleeting emotion, the innocence of young desire, and how even one-sided affection can plant the seeds for a lifelong friendship. As Ryder reflects on that chapter of her life, there's a clear sense that it was one of those rare moments that shape not just a career, but a person's understanding of themselves. Being around Al Pacino at such a formative time gave her more than just butterflies. It gave her a glimpse into the kind of artistic integrity and discipline she aspired to embody. She often talks about how mesmerizing it was to watch him rehearse, how he'd completely lose himself in a role, how he'd analyze Shakespearean lines with an intensity that made her forget anyone else was in the room. Those experiences didn't just make her fall for him, they pushed her to raise the bar. For her own performances, she wasn't just falling in love with a man, she was falling in love with the craft at its highest level. And yet, there's also an undercurrent of longing in her, retelling a gentle ache that comes from remembering a time when everything felt possible, when emotions were raw and unfiltered. Winona describes that period as a kind of dreamlike haze, where reality and imagination blurred together in the buzzing energy of New York. In the warmth of shared silence in Pacino's car, in the fantasy of what might have been if the timing or feelings had aligned just a little differently, is the kind of memory that lingers long after the moment has passed. Not because it's painful, but because it was beautiful in its honesty. She never had expectations, just hopes, and when those hopes weren't met, she didn't break. She grew. Even now, decades later, Ryder admits that she occasionally catches herself thinking about those coffee runs through Manhattan and the electric stillness that would sometimes settle between them as they sipped their drinks and watched the city rush by. She describes those moments as oddly romantic. Even though they were never officially a couple, there was something about the intimacy of being understood without saying much, of sharing quiet spaces with someone who made you feel seen without needing to speak. In that way, their connection transcended traditional definitions. It wasn't a relationship built on physicality or even flirtation. It was something softer, subtler, and possibly more enduring. Her ability to revisit those memories without regret or embarrassment speaks volumes about who Winona Ryder is today. She's not clinging to the past, but she honors it. She allows herself to feel everything those memories bring: joy, awkwardness, admiration, and a touch of melancholy without turning away from any of it. In a world where celebrity stories are often polished and sanitized, her honesty feels refreshing. She doesn't rewrite the past to make herself look better, nor does she downplay how strongly she felt. Instead, she embraces it all as a part of her journey. As one of the many